When we share with others, we're really sharing with God. Hey guys, it's me again, Douglas, and today I want to talk to you guys about sacrifice. We're doing another talk about sacrifices, and specifically I want to talk about the sacrifice of sharing. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 16, it says that we should do what is good and we should share what we have, because those sacrifices are pleasing to God, right? They make God happy. And sometimes sharing means like you get a turn with my toy and then I get a turn back, or it means like let's share a meal together where I'm eating some food and you're eating this food with me. Or sometimes it means like I'm going to share my money with this charity or this church. I'm going to give them my money and I'm never going to see that money again. That's all sharing what we have. And the Bible says that we will be rewarded for that. And sharing is interesting because I don't try to be annoying, but I do like to learn, and so I end up asking why a lot. Like someone will tell me something, and I'll ask why. And some people this just drives them crazy. They don't want to be asked why. They just want you to obey. And sometimes it's just important to obey right away. You don't ask why, or sometimes you could obey and then ask why later. But yeah, anyhow, I ask why kind of a lot. And when someone tells me that I should share and I ask why, I get kind of a lot of different answers. And kids are taught to share at a very, very young age. And so I've been asking why for kind of a long time. And like I said, I've gotten all kinds of answers. Like, you should share because sometime you might want to use something that someone else has and you'll want them to share with you. So like if you share with them, they'll share with you. Or I've heard like you should share so that people like you. Or I've heard you should share because I said so, right? Like a lot of times when people give an explanation for why you should share, it's kind of a like you should share so that this thing will happen. Like this, then that. If you share, they will share. If you share, people will like you. That sort of thing. Like you give what you have so that you can get something that you want. Or sometimes people will say, you should share because I said so, right? So that in that situation, it's sort of like share so that you don't have like negative consequences. Share what you have so that bad things don't happen, right? It seems like a lot of times we treat sharing as like a transaction, like you're paying for something that you want. And I think that sharing works out that way kind of a lot. But I think that the very best reason to share, my favorite reason that I've heard, when I asked why, is because it shows God that we love him. Which is interesting because we can show God that we love him by sharing with people. When we share with others, we're really sharing with God. Because God doesn't need our stuff. God doesn't have any needs at all. But he loves it when we share. And so yeah, I think that the reasons why people give, why you should share are right, They're good reasons, but the very best reason is because when we share, we're offering a sacrifice to God, a sacrifice that makes him happy. So that's my challenge to you guys today, is that you would share with others. Share what you have with others. Share your time, share your talents, the things you're good at, and share your treasures, share your possessions, your money and your food, that sort of stuff. It's so, so good to share, and it makes God happy, and it shows him that we love him. And that's the best reason to do anything. Now, it really is best to share because it shows God that we love him. But the Bible is actually pretty full of examples of God saying that when we share, good things will happen. And again, I don't want this to be the motivation for you because it's kind of a selfish thing to give just so you can get. But God says that if you give, you'll get, right? He will reward you when you share. God says this in the Old Testament. He says it in the New Testament. He says it all over the place that you should give. And when you give, God will give back to you. And you know what? You cannot outgive God. God made and he owns the universe, right? You can never, ever, ever outgive God. God even gave his own son. God himself came to earth and gave his own life for you because he loves you. And so this sacrifice, the sacrifice of sharing is interesting because it's a sacrifice, but it's not really that much of a sacrifice. And the truth is, none of the sacrifices that we offer to God are really a sacrifice. Meaning, it's not something that we won't get back. You'll be rewarded for the good sacrifices that you offer to God, which seems kind of backwards, right? It seems like if it's a sacrifice, it should cost you something and you don't get anything back, but we do, because that's how awesome our God is. So no, I don't think that it's a good idea to be like, I'm going to sacrifice for God because he will pay me back tenfold. He'll pay me back way more than I gave him. That's not a really good motivation. The best motivation is to sacrifice, to offer a sacrifice of sharing, offer a sacrifice of praise, offer a sacrifice of doing good, all these different ways that we can offer God sacrifices. We should offer these sacrifices because we love him. The fact that he'll reward us for the sacrifices we make is just a bonus. So yeah, because we love God, let's offer him the sacrifice of sharing. Hey guys, I hope you like this video. And yeah, sharing is interesting, because sometimes it's sort of like, yeah, you should share because people share back, but the best reason to share is because it makes God happy. And everybody can share. And sometimes when I say share, it means like, you can have a turn with my toy and then I'll get it back. But sometimes sharing means I'm going to give some money to charity and I'm never going to see that money again. At least not that specific money. You know, God, like I said, God says that he will reward you for giving. He'll reward you for sharing what you have. So again, honestly, we make sacrifices to God, but in the end, we're rewarded for them. So they're not really that much of a sacrifice after all. But when we offer sacrifices to God, you know, the good sacrifices that he wants from us, we should do it because it makes him happy. Let's offer God the sacrifice of sharing.